Hello everyone, Dr. Guillaume Dulude with you here. For the last 20 years, I've been coaching psychology, teaching personal development based on science that creates results. I've coached many thousands of people in my programs, and it's important for me to put science at the center of what we know and what we spread in personal development. And of course, as you know, on social media, you have a little bit of everything. A lot of people ask me, can you analyze content that is being found on internet? Yeah, I'm going to do that in English now. So let's have a look on this video that is quite interesting.
We all know good eye contact is important, but here's what you might not know about good.
Okay, so we're talking about interpersonal communication, human communication, and she's talking about eye contact. She said that eye contact is very important. I agree, because eyes reflect what's going on in your brain and you can read it. Okay, so let's see where it goes.
Contacts. Eye contact is a power move when you look at someone at the end of your sentence. So we're very used to, if someone's thinking about something and they're processing something in their head, and I'm telling you that there were 465 gestures in a TED Talk, that is the most important way.
Okay, so this is true. When you're thinking, when you're expressing yourself, it's not a rehearsed script normally. Okay, even if you have an idea of what you want to say, it's not a text. You're not reading a prompter. So it's a natural interaction like this one. So when you're expressing yourself, it's cognitively important to look live at the information inside of yourself, translate it into verbal language, and then express it. So it's normal that you look away while you're expressing yourself. This is absolutely normal. What she's saying is, I think it's quite interesting, at the end of your sentence, or at the end of the point that you want to make, you want to come back in the other person's eyes. So I agree with that. It is important.
I want to showcase something to you. That we like it when someone is actually accessing different memories or areas of their brain, but then when I end my sentence looking right at you, you're like, whoa. So highly competent people make eye contact specifically at the end of their sentences to drill a point, and ideally when the other person is saying something important.
Okay, I cannot be against that. It makes sense. It is true. So I have nothing against this content. It makes sense.
Okay.
And it's scientifically valid also. This has been demonstrated.
I just did it then. But I do that when I'm doing interviews, because I kind of like look off into the distance to think a little bit, and then I come back to ask.
Yeah, so again, when you're thinking, it is normal that there's some lag, for example. You're thinking and the words are not clear and you're accessing to something live. This is authentic, this is natural, it's not a problem, and it's the opposite. People are seeing your eye movement and they know that you're trying to access a content. So they know that it's not rehearsed. I would say it's the opposite. If a person is always expressing himself or herself and is looking right in your eyes without stop, it is not a good sign. It means that it's rehearsed and it's not authentic. It will create a feeling of manipulation, which is not good.
Worst advice I hear people give, body language experts give: make more eye contact, make 100% eye contact.
Okay, that's exactly what I've just said. So again, I agree. Okay, so the brain is busy processing different information, and so the eye movement will move while you're expressing yourself. But this is specifically when you're expressing yourself. In the listening phase, your eyes must not move all over the place. You must stay in the other person's eyes. Okay, so when you're in the listening phase is different than when you're in the expression phase.
Actually, in Western cultures, they've studied this. The ideal amount of eye contact is between 60 and 70% of the conversation. If you make over 70% eye contact, it's actually considered a terrible.
This measure is not precise enough. It depends of the phase of the conversation. As I said, it depends who's talking, who's listening. This is a very important measure.
Gesture. So if I were to be making 100% eye contact with you, it feels very invasive, very awkward.
The invasive aspect of what she's describing is the manipulation process. And it's not related to trust, it's not related to relationship, it's not related to vulnerability. It's more related to manipulation and at the limit of aggression and intimidation. So I agree.
We like it when someone is processing or gathering information from around. Like if I'm processing something or I'm thinking about something,
Absolutely. She's right.
or I'm accessing, all that matters is at the end of my point, I'm looking right at you. And that feels
She's right.
so much more powerful.
Okay, so that's number 3.
Yeah, that's number 3. Yeah.
Okay.
Fourth one of my favorites. It's called a lower lid flex. Lower lid flex is one of the least utilized, but one.
Okay, lower lid flex is when you do this little move like this. Okay, so let's see how she explains it.
Favorite cues. So biologically speaking, when we are trying to see something far away, we harden our lower lids. Like I'm trying to read the titles on your bookshelf. I harden my lower lids. That is because when our eye is trying to see far, it squints to block out the light.
This is absolutely true.
So you'll see more details in my face when you harden your lower lid at me. So harden your lower lid. If you look at People's Sexiest Men Alive, almost every man in that magazine it's Zoolander, right? Blue Steel.
It is true.
Steel.
Not only men, women also, but especially men, because it's men and women have different specificities or characteristics in terms of communication and seduction. So it's not the same processes, but she's putting an accent on men because men are more goal-oriented. They're less seduction-oriented. So it is true.
To lower lid flex. That is because
also goal-oriented behavior is more correlated with testosterone. So if the more focused you seem to be, the more, I would say, the more you will have a predator look, which correlates with testosterone and hierarchy in males. So it is true, especially for men.
Someone is trying to really focus on something and really understand something, their lower lid is flexed as you're doing right now. And
so this is normal. For example, if you're really focused on something, you might do this. Okay, so just this, and men and women, doesn't matter. So it's related to sustained attention, high focus, emotional balance about what the other person is saying. So the more you feel like the other person is saying something important, the more important it's for you, and your brain wants to get all the information. So it will increase the level of attention and focus and will reduce the amount of distraction. So if you have more light, you have more distractors, okay? Not only light, but when you're looking at someone, you have a central focus of attention, but you have periphery attention. So this is more related to spot a distractor or external movement in the environment. But if you really want to focus on someone and something is really important, you want to have kind of a tunnel vision. So you want to create inhibition on the periphery and all the contamination in terms of activation, movement, distractors. So you will reduce the light, but you will also reduce the amount of things that you want to see. So it's true.
Boy, oh boy, do we like it when someone is lower lid flexing at us. Because it means you are really trying to understand and see me. So a lower lid flex is a great power cue to use in moderation, right? Nothing too much. That when someone is saying something on a date or in a...
All right. Okay. So that's one of the main key here. She just said something really important. In moderation. That's the first problem of this video. What do you mean in moderation? How do you do that? Oh, just not too much. What do you mean not too much? What's too much? Well, it depends. It depends on a ton of factors. So here's my recommendation. This little eye movement or any facial cues will be a consequence of what you're doing consciously with your brain and consciously with your sustained attention, your conscious attention. So if you put your attention on someone and you really want to get everything, all the information that the person is saying, you will have a natural tendency to do the right facial cues. But if you listen to videos like this and you don't use it well, you just use like, oh yeah, I must do like this. It's not going to work because the brain is so precise. We can read everyone's face. very, very, very fast, and we can see fake facial expression. So that's why, yes, it's important to talk about nonverbal language, but it's more important to talk about cognitive processes that make you do the right things naturally. It is not good to start with external behavior. For example, it's not good to say like, oh yeah, you must do gesture to show leadership. No, you must not do gesture. You must connect the right parts on the moment inside. And yes, after you can express it in the right proportion, the right dosage in the moment. And it will work and it will look natural. So natural means that it's coherent with your brain activation. So whether it's a smile, whether it's nodding, whether it's you do whether you focus, you move your eyes, it must be first controlled by internal process. Otherwise, it will all look fake. Even if you say like, I'm going to do it in moderation, forget it. It doesn't mean anything moderation. It is not a process. Focus on internal process. For example, conscious attention. Where are you focusing your attention when you're expressing yourself? Where are you focusing your attention when you're listening, which is very important and very hard because your brain is throwing at you all kinds of distraction. And so you split your attention between your own thought and the other person's thought. And your eye movement will be modified automatically, even though you don't want to. It is not something that you can control consciously. And if you want to control it consciously, you will fake it because you need to overactivate conscious muscle. But it's not going to change that. There's going to be something fake that we will detect in the facial cues, and it's almost impossible to lie. So what she has said is true, but you need to understand that these are just expression of cognitive processes. If you have other videos from me, guys, just send it to me. I'm going to try to have a look and give you my take on it. I think it's quite important to say what exists, scientifically speaking, what actually works, and also say what doesn't, because there are all kinds of messages that will amplify negative emotions right now. So we have to be careful about what we hear on different platforms. So thanks for being there, guys. If you have other kinds of videos and if you like this kind of content, you can just follow me on my social media. Cool. Cheers.